Hello, 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 Taurus. Welcome. Also, welcome to Taurus's Cross Watchers. This is Queen Amun Ra coming to you today with your weekly reading. I'm so excited to see what's happening for you, Taurus, because there's so much going on right now. We have Venus in retrograde, we have Jupiter in retrograde, we have Saturn in retrograde. But not only that, Taurus, we have Uranus in Taurus. So I'm going to touch on that in just a moment. But this is for my Taurus's Sun, Moon, Rising, and Venus. Or if you have Taurus somewhere in your chart, this may apply to you, especially when I start talking about Uranus and Taurus and why some things are happening for you right now. But let's get started with the reading. I'm so excited to see what we have for our Tauruses today. Let's see what's happening. Most High God in the universe, please give me a reading for Taurus on today. Whatever you like to share with me about our Tauruses, please share with me about our Tauruses. We're going to get started in just a second. There's, like I said, there's a lot going on. Okay. Oh, okay. Let's move these cards along here. Okay. Taurus. Like I said, there's a lot going on right now. Let's talk about the planets being in retrograde right now. We have, like I said, Venus is in retrograde right now. So during the time where Venus is actually in retrograde, that is the signs associated with Venus is Libra and Taurus. Okay, so these are times where you're going to be reviewing your money and your love situation. Okay, if there's a new relationship, then you're going to be focused more on moving towards that once Venus goes direct. Okay, I have this amethyst. I have two amethysts here, and then I also have a rose quartz. Okay, so what's interesting about Venus being in retrograde, Jupiter and Saturn, because all of those planets are talking about reviewing not only your love and money, but also belief systems, your visions, your ideas. It's talking about reviewing relationships overall. That could be your romantic, your family, or self-love relationships. That is, you're also working on long-term goals and responsibilities. You're also, this is a time where we're all restructuring the way that we manifest our reality. And also we're finding new, changing our attitudes towards obstacles in life. That's very, very, very important. But specifically for my Tauruses, when I mentioned Uranus being in Taurus right now, we know that the high vibrating Tauruses are very logical. They're very generous and trustworthy. They're very determined. They're very understanding. They're very kind. They're very organized, and they're patient, right? But let me tell you about Uranus being in Taurus right now, because this is what's rocking Taurus to the core. Because you guys are so grounded, and because the earth signs in particular are very stable people, okay? You're also craving your inner freedom. So while I don't see a particular card here right now, but you're going to be craving your inner freedom in the area of finances, Taurus, your areas of material possessions, and also self-esteem. There's just going to be, I think in one of my readings for you guys, I don't know if it was the special reading or if it was last week's reading, I said something about people are going to be shocked by some things that you do. And I don't want you to be shocked, Taurus, because like I said, these planets are very, very, very powerful. And I think sometimes people kind of sort of forget that how powerful these planets are. Of course, because they don't teach astrology in elementary school. At least I don't think so, or in middle school or in high school. I think maybe touch on it a little bit, but not really getting into it. But what I'm seeing here is I'm gonna go through here in just a second. But the first card that I picked up was the Eight of Wands. Okay, so we know that the Wands is fire energy. That's the Aries, Leo, Sagittarius energy in your life. That is the or it could be somewhere in your chart. That represents the Wands card of fire represents spirituality and taking action. See this person? They look very confident. This could be masculine, feminine energy. Look very confident and just be ready to take some action. So this is telling me, Taurus, that there's some things, like I said, all of these things tie in together. The planets being in retrograde and also Uranus being in Taurus. So there are some parts of you that are ready to take action. Okay, there's some fire up under you right now, regarding your spirituality and regarding taking action. I mentioned something about the amethyst right here, the two amethysts that I have here, and also with the rose quartz. But let me share something with you about the amethyst. The amethyst is about transformation, is for protection, is for addiction release, and also sleep aid. Okay, this deals with your crown chakra. The amethyst deals with your crown chakra, and your crown chakra is that meeting point between the physical body, the universe, and the soul. Okay, so there's a lot going on for you right now, Taurus, that you may or may not even understand. Uranus and Taurus actually started in 2019, and it's going to be running all the way until 2026. So there are a lot of changes happening for you right now, Taurus. We also have the Ace of Wands. Okay, and so the Ace of Wands is dealing with illumination. There's some things going on inside of you right now where things are being illuminated spiritually for you. You're being inspired, and you're also an inspiration to a lot of people. And then there's a lot of pure potential. Now, like I said, my earth signs are very grounded, very stable people. And sometimes, and like with the Tauruses, you guys are sometimes very, very stubborn. But I'm telling you, with Uranus being in Taurus right now, there's some things that are going to be shaken to the core for you. And it's a progression. It's happening for you. Not to say that you're not going to continue being a stable or logical person, but there are going to be some things where you're going to start looking at your inner spirituality. The rose quartz that I have here, this deals with your heart chakra. Okay, it's also, the rose quartz is also called the love crystal. This is it's pretty legendary for its ability to heal heartbreak, to attract new love, to open your heart to a new level of forgiveness, compassion, and just more love. And when I say love, I'm talking about in the areas of a romantic love, family love, and self-love. So that's what's going on for a lot of people right now. And like I said, these planets being in retrograde are pretty powerful. And then let's look at this next card. This is the Empress card, which represents goddess, femininity, and Mother Earth. Okay, so we know right now that, like I said, there's a lot of things going on in the universe. Many of us are reviewing areas of money, reviewing areas of love. We're reviewing areas of relationship. And when I say love, it's not just a romantic love. It's also family love. It's also self-love. And so this is what's happening. This is masculine, feminine energy, but you're very, very strong. Look at the fruits of your labor. You're relaxed. You have come into your own. Okay. And I think, like I said one time before, Taurus, and again, I have to reiterate, cannot remember if it was for the special reading for you guys or if it was for for last week's reading. But there are some things happening with you right now in Taurus that people are really going to be shocked. Like, they are, people around you are so used to you being one way, so predictable in how you operate in relationships, and that's family relationships, that's your romantic relationships, and that's also self-love, that they're going to be questioning, like, what happened, what happened. And it's not necessarily attributed to a person or tied to a person, Taurus. It is tied to the universe and things happening right now. And like I said, Uranus being in Taurus, this is actually happening for a lot of people, but Tauruses are affected the most by this, by Uranus being in Taurus. And remember, I said the planet that's connected to Uranus is Aquarius. Okay, and so we know about the air signs being they represent power and intellect, and specifically Uranus being attached to Aquarius. It's something, like I said before, there was an Aquarius somewhere in your life, Taurus, that represented a certain level of power and intellect and freedom for you, and almost, I don't want to say carelessness, but like the Fool card and Upright, which is also an Aquarius card, represents a level of freedom that maybe you've never known before, Taurus. And it starts out, and I believe why it's taking so long, it's taking a while to move through this progression, because it's going to take you guys some time to kind of sort of get into the swing of things, and because, like I said, you guys are so grounded, you're so logical, like things need to make sense for Tauruses. You're kind and you're organized and you're very patient. So this thing rocking you to your core, Uranus being in Taurus, you're going to be thinking about, okay, this feels strange and different, but not in a bad way, but in a way that's like, okay. Like, for instance, when people look at the Aquarius, the Fool card and Upright, their mind automatically goes to the Fool in reverse, which is reckless, poor decisions, so on and so forth. But this is the Fool in Upright, and I don't see the card out here, but I would not be surprised if it's pulled in like the next set of cards that I pull for you. If it's not, but I just follow me with how this works. And I would also encourage you all to do your own research on what I'm sharing with you in terms of the planets being in retrograde, and in terms of also Uranus being in Taurus right now, okay, and seeing what astrological sign Uranus is attached to. So it's not going to feel, it may feel a little weird at first, like there's some things going on. There may have been a Taurus in your life, whether it was a romantic relationship, a family relationship, a romantic or family relationship where you just kind of looked at them as like, this person cuts people off too soon, they walk away from situations too soon. But I know that is because the Aquarius also is a very, very free spirit. And while to some people, free spirits, and I'm only speaking of Aquarius because there are other signs in the zodiac that are very free spirited, but for Taurus, that is something that is not necessarily familiar. The whole free spirited, just kind of living life on your terms. Things have to make sense to you. Okay. So this reading may not even make too much sense, but internally there's something going on with you right now. You may not understand what's happening right now, but I'm telling you what's happening is that Uranus has been in Taurus since last year, and it will be in Taurus until 2026. So that's a long time to kind of sort of come into this newness that you have. Another thing that I want to share with you all is, like I said, in areas of love and of healing, like your crown chakra, which the amethyst is attached to, and then you have your rose quartz, which is also considered the love crystal, that's attached to your heart chakra. there's a spiritual thing happening for you right now, Taurus, on such a high level that it's like, okay, you're going into another dimension. This is what's happening for you. You're going into another dimension, and it feels different. And I don't want to say it feels different in a bad way, but it just feels different. Okay. The Five of Wands right here, which is the next card that's pulled, represents, again, Wands, fire energy, that's spirituality and taking action. That's the Aries, Leo, Sagittarius. Those are the astrological signs that it's attached to. But there is like an inner battle going on, with you right now, Taurus. And this is for even my cross watchers who know some Tauruses right now. They may be operating, they may say some things that just seems like there's some growth there, or like some things that are going on. They may talk more about spirituality. They may talk more about, but not in the way that you're used to hearing them mentioning things about spirituality. But it's a beautiful transformation. And this is what I want you to know, Taurus. It's such a beautiful transformation for you that there's going to be a moment where it's like a wow moment for you. Okay. So this is what want you guys to expect, that, I want you to kind of sort of go with it, like flow with the energy, if that makes sense to you. Just kind of sort of go with what's happening to you, because it's such a beautiful transformation. And Uranus being in Taurus right now is very, very, very powerful. So if you're a parent of a Taurus, if you are, close to a Taurus in any way, if you are a parent who is a Taurus, or you are a parent to a Taurus, just start to pay attention to like some like transformation things happening with them right now. But there's like an inner battle for some people right now that's happening. Like they don't understand why this thing is happening. But I want you guys to understand there's no such thing as coincidence, right? So because there's no such thing as a coincidence, people are coming into your life, but like pay attention, like be really, really mindful of who's coming in and out of your life, like who's around you on a regular basis. Remember, like I said, because we have these planets in retrograde, Venus being in retrograde, which is also attached to the Libra and Taurus, since I'm speaking about Taurus, you guys are reviewing your money, you're reviewing love. But reviewing doesn't necessarily mean going back. It just simply means you're just reviewing right now. So just, like I said, you're very logical people. Don't allow people to pull you backwards into something, into like a relationship that did not serve its higher purpose. Don't let somebody pull you back into a financial structure that did not serve you well. You're focusing on moving forward. And remember, I said, like, the planets being in retrograde, they're only in retrograde but for so long before they go direct. Venus in particular went into retrograde May 13th, and it'll be in retrograde until the 25th of this month. So it's in retrograde for 43 days. So there's a lot going on. There's a lot of things going on right now. But I need you to understand that you're going with the flow, Taurus. You're going with the flow. Here we have the Eight of Wands, okay? And so with the Eight of Wands for you, that is again, wands represents your journey to spirituality and taking action. This represents progress, rapid action, movement happening in your life. This is why, Taurus, I really kind of want you guys to kind of go with the flow of what's happening right now. And don't, I know usually you guys are, or can be, because not all Tauruses are stubborn, but you can be stubborn when you don't really know what's going on and things are kind of moving fast for you. I'm telling you, like, when you go with the flow, this progression is happening for you. It's just like happening. Things are happening around you. The universe is working in your favor, and like I said, things are happening for you. I mean, at a very rapid rate. That's why we have, it's like I said, this fire energy, like with your spirituality and taking action. Things are happening for you, but because you're such a logical thinker, there's also some things happening internally that could feel like you're unbalanced, like you're possessive when it comes to holding on to ideals and ideas and the way you used to do things. I want you guys to like get in. I want to get this in close to make sure I show you this. You could want to hold on to a belief system and ideals and visions that you had, but right now, like when I say, I encourage you guys to go with the flow, because some things can happen for you just drastically. Okay. We also have the Two of Swords right here. This represents an empath. What the spirit guides are telling me is that the only impasse is your old life and your new life. Okay. Like I said, for my Tauruses, things have to make sense for you all. But you're on your spiritual journey, and Taurus, like all earth signs, your guys, you guys, your the earth signs represent your journey to money and wealth. Okay. This Two of Swords is also adding intellect and power to it, because the Two of Swords is an air card, which is Gemini, Libra, Aquarius, right? So in the past, remember I mentioned in Aquarius before, like Uranus is attached to Aquarius. In the past, you've had some challenges like locked horns with an Aquarius in your life. But now that we're quarantined, most of us are quarantined, most of us are like, some people are teleworking, some people have a lot of time to go in and kind of sort of reflect on some things, right? Right now, Taurus, you're kind of thinking about that free-spirited Aquarius. You're thinking about that maybe their ideals, or that living life sort of on the edge, where it could be perceived as sort of being reckless, but it's not in a reckless way. Remember I said full and upright is not doesn't represent recklessness. It represents a free spirit. It represents independence. And remember I said that Uranus being in Taurus, also what's happening right now is that you're craving this inner freedom in areas of finance, material possessions, and also self-esteem. You want to start doing some things differently. Let's pull some more cards real quick. Taurus, this is really good for you guys. I'm loving this. I'm loving this. I'm loving the fact that so many people are, answering their call in life. And Taurus, you're no different. You guys are also answering the call in your life too. Look at this. Wow. Okay. Listen. Okay. Taurus, you guys have people around you, and this again is for love, whether they are romantic love, family love, or self-care or self-love. But you have people around you who have been so dependent on you, and I'm getting family right now. People have been so dependent on you that it's like they have allotted a portion of your paycheck for them, because they know that you're going to take care of them. So they know when you get paid, however often. Some people get paid bi-weekly, some people get paid every 2 weeks, some people get paid once a month. But the people around you are so dependent on you. Remember I said you guys were very generous and trustworthy, right? You're very kind. You're very patient with people. And it's not like Uranus being in Taurus is going to change that generosity and trustworthiness and you being organized, kind, and patient. It's not going to do that. But you right now are thinking about some things. Like I said, the planets being in retrograde. Matter of fact, even though Venus is in retrograde for a few more weeks, you also have Jupiter in retrograde. This is when you're reviewing your visions, your ideals, your belief systems in life, right? Also, Saturn is in retrograde into September 29th. So Saturn is going to be in retrograde for 141 days. It started in May. It started last month. But Saturn in particular being in retrograde is Capricorn Aquarius energy, which is also earth and air sign, okay? During Saturn being in retrograde, you're going to be revisiting relationships. That could be romantic relationships, family relationship, a relationship with yourself, self-love, right? So you're going to be revisiting relationships. You're going to be working on your long-term goals and responsibilities and duties. That's also a time that you're going to be restructuring the way that you manifest some things, manifesting things into reality. And also you're going to find a new a new attitude towards obstacles that is going to throw people off. And I believe when I did a reading for you before, whether it was a special reading or if it was your last week's reading, when I said you're going to be doing some things that's unexpected to people. It's going to be you, but it's going to be you times 10 because you'll be in another dimension, spiritually in another dimension. Okay, we have the Two of Cups here. Okay, this is partnership. This is complementary. This is duality. Okay. This is saying to me that there will be new love in your life. And the beautiful thing about planets being in retrograde is when you're reviewing new things, that is not the time to make sudden changes, make sudden actions. That's why I think a lot of cards came up for a lot of people to dead situations that no longer serve them. For you, Taurus, that's also the case. However, when Venus goes direct and you have reviewed maybe an old relationship and you have grown in ways where you're not as stubborn and not as possessive, holding on to old ideals and old belief systems and so on and so forth, you're open now because you're in another dimension. And remember I said let me pick this back up. Remember I said this amethyst is for transformation, is for protection, is for addiction release. It's also a sleep aid. So for Tauruses, you all are very family oriented and very stable when it comes to your jobs or your career, your money. Like you do things because the way you do things, the way you process and do things. If it works for you, that's going to be the thing that's going to work for you. But now because Uranus is in Taurus, there are going to be some things that you're going to be open to doing because you're thinking to yourself, I've tried those things this way and I'm trying the same. Okay, how do I put this? Okay. In all of my relationships, I did this, in this because I believed it worked for me. But now because Uranus is in Taurus, you're going to be open to doing things a different way because you want to garner different results. You know how, not only are we taking a look at relationships and love, I want to be crystal clear. It's not just an ex. It's not just family. It's also looking at ourselves, okay? So when you're looking at yourself and you decide, you know what, I tried this I've been in, let's say for instance, and this may not be you, this is just purely for an example, Taurus. You may have been in 5 relationships. In all 5 of those relationships, you did things the exact same way. The person may have looked, all 5 people may have looked significantly different from each other. They may have been from different cultures and races, different backgrounds, ethnicities, and so on and so forth. But you got to a point where you said, I'll never date this type of person, this type of person, this type of person, this type of person, and this type of person, right? But the spiritual journey that you're on right now, Taurus, and this is what I'm getting from the universe, is that there's something in you that's changing. So when you come across somebody that is like 1 through 5, first relationship, second down to 5th, your third eye is now open and you see them differently. I hope that makes sense to you all. Because again, this is what the universe is telling me about what's happening with the Taurus right now, specifically with Uranus being in Taurus right now, which is when I tell you, it's a beautiful, beautiful, beautiful thing. You're going to start right now. Your mind is like kind of going back to some relationships, and you're kind of reviewing a lot of things. Maybe you felt like maybe I could have done some things a little bit differently. Remember I say, like when I'm reading the cards, when it comes down to like reviewing relationships, we're not only reviewing what the ex did, we're also reviewing what we did and how we can get better. That's a part of the self-love piece. Okay. We also have the 10 of Cups here. Again, this is fire energy. This represents your journey to spirituality and taking action. I mean, really, Taurus, your third eye is open, okay? You are taking action. You're becoming more spiritual, but it's not in the sense that you were before. You came across something, you've heard something, but again, none of these things are by coincidence. I just want you to know this, okay? This represents wholeness, it represents connection, and it represents a full circle. So your life is in a full circle, okay? Has come full circle. Look at this 5 of Cups. Also represents your journey to spirituality and taking action. Everything is a matter of perspective, Taurus. You can either see the glass half full or half empty. But you're choosing to see the glass half full because there's some things you want to change. It's easy, and this applies to all signs. This applies to all astrological signs. It's easy when you come out of a relationship and you're reviewing, past relationships to say that this person was horrible, they're this and that, pull out all the low vibration frequencies in another person. But when you have time to sit down, because right now, like I said, COVID-19 has forced a lot of people indoor quarantining. A lot of us are looking at ourselves like, what could we do better? Like, it's not just everybody else around us. What could we do better on our journey to self-love? And a lot of us are growing. I'm telling you, there are going to be a lot of people that you won't recognize when this quarantine has lifted, and so you're no different, Taurus. And I'm excited actually for your journey because a lot of Tauruses are very spiritual people. I mean, and very religious people and very spiritual people, like going to church every Sunday and so on and so forth. But this is not about church. This is about a different level of spirituality that you guys are on. And it's a wonderful thing. Here we have the Strength card attached to Leo. A fire sign represents journey to spirituality and taking action. Okay. Again, you guys are on this spiritual journey because Uranus is in Taurus. Okay. Uranus is attached to the Aquarius. You guys have this inner strength. I'm telling you, Taurus, people are not going to recognize you. Like I said, you're going to continue. It's just going to be a better Taurus. Like right now, you're logical. Like I said, let's run it down again. You guys are logical. You're generous and you're trustworthy. You're very determined. You're very understanding. You're very kind. You're very organized and you're very patient. That's not going to go anywhere, but it's going to be that on steroids, like on 10 for you all. Okay. That's a beautiful, beautiful, beautiful thing. You guys are thinking about a lot right now. You guys are thinking about a lot right now. And a lot of people, like I said, are not going to be able to handle it because some people are so used to, and for some reason, I'm just getting like, there's just a lot of people who are just dependent on you. Like a lot of people are just kind of like depending on your paycheck, depending on you taking care of things every week or every 2 weeks or however often you guys get paid. They know that you are the person that's going to make sure they're taken care of, if that makes sense. They know that that's you. You're that person that's going to make sure that because you guys are, like I said, you're very patient, you're very generous and trustworthy. So you have a lot of people depending on you. And what I'm getting from this is family that's like really, really dependent on you. And they just kind of sort of expect for you to take care of them every week or every 2 weeks or however long, they're just expecting like this thing to happen. And you're like, why do I, it's going to get to a point where you have to, like when I said, you're going to be really reevaluating some things. I mean, like really, really, really reevaluating some things where people are going to be surprised. They're really, really going to be surprised by you. Wow. I'm like I said, I'm really, really excited for my Tauruses because, like I said, I know some really, really good Tauruses, and like I said, you guys are very dependable. But I'm telling you, like the common thing that I know about Tauruses is that they're really, really close to family members. They have friends that they've had in their lives, their entire lives, that they value, relationships. And nothing, that's not going to change that you don't value relationships. But at the same time, there's a spiritual awakening happening for you right now. And it's like I said, it's gonna feel so good. Okay, look at this. We have the Sun card, which is a Leo card, which is again journey to spirituality and taking action. Look, let's go back to this. You're going up, 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 and up. That's why I said, even with the inner conflict, even with the perspective has a whole lot to do with it. But even with the inner conflict, even with like the impasse here that you may have had with an air sign in the past, you're going to be very open. Okay, it is not by coincidence that Uranus is in Taurus right now. And like I said, Uranus is attached to the Aquarius. The Two of Swords card is an air sign, Gemini, Libra, Aquarius, again, but there's a lot of spirituality happening for you, a lot of spirituality, like and you also have a lot of like emotions and creativity going on with you right now. So this is an emotional time for you right now, Taurus. I mean, a very emotional time. Like your emotions are very high, and for you there could be some inner conflict because you don't understand what's going on. So for my Taurus, is what I really want you to do. Here's my challenge for you. I want you to do some research on Uranus being in Taurus, and understand what's happening right now, because it's not only happening for you, Taurus, but it's also happening for all the astrological signs. The planets being in retrograde, and then also Uranus being in Taurus. So it actually affects you the most, but it actually affects everybody. Look at this. This is the last card, Eight of Swords here. Okay. So look with this. Look at I want to get close on this. The Eight of Swords. Look at this person, masculine, feminine energy. Okay. This the cool thing about this card right here is that you see all these swords around. Okay. The swords is air signs. It represents intellect and power, right? That's the Gemini, Libra, Aquarius. Again, this represents limitations, confinements, and restrictions, right? But look how loose these like silk wrappings are around the arms, the wrists. I'm sorry, the wrist. They're very loose. All you have to do is shake off those things that's restricting you, Taurus, and just pull the blindfold off. You don't have any blockages. None. Look at the two mountains in the background, but just a clear pathway through. Okay? That's what this represents for you. I'm telling you, when you come out of, and like I said, Uranus is going to be in Taurus until 2026. But for some, it's going to take longer than others. For some, it's going to be instantaneous. Like, okay, you know what? I need to try something new and different because I want to see some new and different results. Listen, Taurus, by birth, you guys, again, represent your journey to money and wealth, okay? I would like to personally see you guys get there a lot quicker. And I think your spiritual journey is what's going to do it, becoming more open-minded. And like I said, you guys already have so many things working in your favor. Like I said, you're very logical thinkers. You are very patient, you're organized, you're kind, you're understanding, you're determined, you're very generous, and you're trustworthy. And people depend on that. But I'm getting the feeling. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. Okay, listen guys, I can't make this up. I just shuffled the cards. Look, bring love into the situation. New moon and Aquarius. I'm gonna just leave the card. I'm just gonna leave the card here. It's a lot going on for you, Taurus. I know when you think about like earth signs and air signs being together, whether it's love, whether it's love in a romantic way or in a family way. Sometimes, we've looked at Taurus and air signs as sort of clashing. But like I said, there is a spiritual journey you guys are on right now that is just, for some people, it's going to cause more inner conflict than others. But for some Tauruses who's just like ready to change, like I said, you've been thinking about your financial structure and you've been thinking about reviewing love and everything, I would say keep reviewing those things and don't make any hasty decisions, because Venus is going to be in retrograde until the 25th. The other planets are going to be in retrograde for a little bit longer, but particularly in those areas. If there's somebody in your life that you want to reach out to when Venus goes direct, then do it. But for right now, just think about some things, like gather all that information together and think about some things. Look at this. Number 15 came out for these oracle cards, which is divine light, spirituality. In divine light, you overflow with love. You carry the sacred arrows that teach you about the clouds so full of water that the rain comes like droplets of wisdom into the sea of your sea of consciousness, and you begin to learn. Again, I'm telling you, Taurus, this is about your journey to spirituality. I'm talking about a deeper level. You are diving very deep. No more surface, this, that, and the other. Your intuition, your third eye, everything is going to be at a level that you never experienced before. And for some people, change is scary. But I would encourage you, Taurus, to just go with the flow. Go with the flow of the universe to what's happening right now. What else does this card say? The sacred flute carries your prayers of love and all symbols of treasured peoples, and dreams reflect upon you with the light of the great sun. You are a sacred lover full of fragrance, and the wind comes to spread your perfume across the land. You stand before the Great Spirit in a state of grace. Name your darkness, that sad quality that you have held, and as you call it by name, feel it begin to disappear. You hold onto your faith the same way that you grip your arrows of destiny. You are not meant to live in darkness, but in the light of your own integrity. Move with the flow of life. There we go with the flow. Move with the flow of life and let any of the sadness from your earlier years and let go any sadness from your earlier years. Be serene and at ease as the light begins to define you. Look at this, Ace of Wands, illumination. Going with the flow. I said that before I even pulled this card. You know, you're just on a very powerful transformation right now, Taurus. And like I said, those qualities that you embody right now, being logical, generous, and trustworthy, and so on and so forth, the other ones that I named, they're not going to go anywhere. But now you're going to move differently. Like, I'm not going to just plant seeds in infertile soil anymore, if that makes any sense. Expect some backlash from some people that thought that they had you pegged. As a matter of fact, because you're such a generous and trustworthy person, there are also people around you who take full advantage of that, Taurus, but not anymore. I'm telling you, this has been my reading for you all, Taurus. I'm so excited on the journey that you guys are on, because there's a lot going on right now. And like I said, Uranus being in Taurus right now is changing the game for a lot of people. There's a lot of inner freedom. A lot of people want to just break out, but not like the Taurus. Okay? Again, this has been Queen Amun Ra with a reading for Taurus, Sun, Moon, and Rising, and Venus. If this message resonates with you, please like, subscribe, and share. There are other people who also kind of want to know what's going on right now and why things are happening the way that they are. But no, guys, the way that the universe works, nothing is by coincidence, and everything is happening for you exactly the way it should happen for you. Just learn how to go with the flow. And that's what I have for you today. Have a great day.